Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. Say, why did the Stormtrooper get an iPhone? Because he couldn't find the droid he was looking for. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Star Wars Villainous from Ravensburger. We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review. In Star Wars Villainous from Ravensburger, 2 to 4 players take on the roles of iconic Star Wars villains from throughout the franchise. You can be Ventress, you can be Darth Vader, you can be General Grievous, you can be Kylo Ren, and you can be Gustav Fring. Now, if you're familiar with the Disney Villainous series or the Marvel Villainous games, this will be very, very familiar to you. If not, stick around. Essentially, each player gets their own kind of character little bust. You get your kind of player board, which is kind of a long board there that folds up. You're also going to get 2 different kinds of decks. You're going to get your villain deck, which you set on the left side, and you're going to get your fate deck, which you set on your right side. The villain deck is black, the fate deck is white. Now, in the middle of the play area, you're going to place the chamber, and in the chamber, you're going to have space for credit tokens, for ambition tokens, and for kind of +-1 tokens. Now, on your turn, all you have to do is essentially move your figure to another location. Each of your player boards has different locations printed on it. You move to different locations. Now, while you're at that specific location, there are different actions that you can take. Notably, there'll be spaces on your board where you can gain ambition tokens and credit tokens, and these are kind of currencies that you're going to use throughout the game. Now, one of the things you can do is play a card. Now, each player has 4 cards. Their hand is made up of 4 cards, for their villain cards, and you can play a card. Now, you can play cards to do different things. Some cards are just kind of actions that you can take. Some cards are kind of henchmen that you're going to place beneath you on your player board to show kind of what locations they're in. And these are people that, or droids or stormtroopers or whatever, that can help you in certain situations. Then you're also going to go ahead and you can play some cards for to become starships, so spaceships that you can place on the board, become an entirely new location. There's some other fun things you can do with your villain cards. Now, critically, when you use a lot of these cards, you have to pay their credit cost. Sometimes it's an ambition cost, but you have to pay that cost in order to play that card. You can do a maneuver action. Maneuver essentially lets you move cards that are placed beneath one location to any other location beneath you. Now, you can go ahead and you can discard cards. If you got a hand you're not happy with, you can discard cards because you're going to draw back up to 4 at the end of the round. Now, you can activate. There's the activate action, which allows you to, wherever the printed activate symbol is on cards or wherever, you can go ahead and activate that from that location. Now, you also have the vanquish action, which essentially allows you to, if you have the strength of the cards beneath it, to vanquish any heroes that may have been placed on the top part of your board. And finally, there's the fate action. Essentially, the fate action is, if you play fate, you can pick another player and you say, give me your top 2 cards from your fate deck. You take those 2 cards from the fate deck, you see which one you want to play, you discard the other one, and you play that card. Now, again, usually these can be heroes that are placed on top of the enemy's board, which cover some of their actions and cause other problems, or they can be other things that can kind of foul up your enemy. Now, you're going back and forth at doing these actions, taking these actions, in the hope of achieving your specific victory. Now, each character has a unique victory objective, and each of their cards in their villain deck is helping them get to that objective, and each of the cards in their fate deck is generally trying to prevent them from doing that. Now, Darth Vader's objective is to turn Luke to the dark side. He has to get Luke into the throne room while the Emperor is there, pay a number of ambition, he can turn Luke to the dark side, and he wins the game. Ventress has a number of missions within her deck that she has to complete in order for her to win. General Grievous is collecting lightsabers. If ever he collects 8 lightsabers by the beginning of the turn, he wins. Kylo Ren has to commit to the dark side by moving all of his destiny tokens to the dark side of a board. And then, of course, you have Gustav Fring, who has to experiment on Grogu with Dr. Pershing. He has to have them and some other cards in play, and then, of course, pay some ambition, and he wins the game. So whoever is able to first get to their supreme objective, their ultimate objective, they will win Star Wars Villainous. Now, I'm not a huge Disney fan, right? I don't like Disney. And I was kind of surprised then at how much I liked Disney Villainous. I thought that was really a fun game. But I think, cards on the table right now, I think I might like Star Wars Villainous even better. First of all, I like the IP better. But more than that, I just like... I like the missions and the adventures they had to go on. They were just really fun. Darth Vader trying to get Luke to join the dark side is really cool. The Grievous, the 8 lightsabers. I mean, they're all really fun objectives, and they're tough, and there's some really good competition. I like that there's, in addition to just credits, which are your standard currency, you also have ambition, which is a different kind of currency, and so it kind of balances things there, and it's kind of hard to keep track of it's hard to fulfill everything you want to fulfill as easily, I think, sometimes as it is in the other one. I was never a big fan of the Marvel Villainous game. I thought it was all right, but I don't know, it just felt weird to me. Like Thanos felt really, really hard, and you think he'd be the easiest. But anyway, I haven't played all the expansions of the Disney one. The ones I played I like, but again, I just think I like this one better. I think it's a better game, a smoother, stronger game. But I also realized too that maybe it's not different enough, and so fundamentally, it's what is your preference? What is your IP preference? Do you like Disney? Do you like Marvel? Or do you like Star Wars? And that's kind of where you're going to want to go with. But for me, I really, really, really like the Star Wars one here. No plans to get rid of the Disney ones just yet, but I do like Star Wars quite a bit, and I'm really excited. I hope they do come out with some more expansions here. Totally see the Emperor having his own plot. Boba Fett would be freaking awesome on here. You know, the original old school Boba Fett, that was cool. So I really think the game has a lot of potential for growth here. It's just a fun game. I took this up to see my girlfriend here last month, and we played it with one of her kids, and we had a ball the first game. And it's not an overly complex game, but it's still got some real meat to it. Really enjoyed Star Wars Villainous, and if you like Star Wars, I think you're really going to enjoy it. Recommendation, buy it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, on Twitter. We'd ask you to please like us here, on Facebook, on Twitter, and subscribe to this channel. We really, really appreciate it. Please check out my other channel. Look at this, Cody Carlson, PhD. We talk about military history, books on history. I post some of my lectures on there. It's really a lot of fun. I really appreciate your support on that channel as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, Luke Skywalker getting his hand chopped off, now that's a tragedy. But on the other hand, he was okay. May somebody help me on my feet again.